Hey, I'm Richard Fortus, and I have way too much stuff. I always wanted one as a kid. I was like, 12, 13 when these came out, and it was like, wow, SIlverburst Gibson. I lusted after like my whole life, and finally bought one, found one and bought one in great shape.
I mean, they stand out for sure. The finish is super unique. Les Paul Customs are usually gold hardware. Mm-hmm. This is definitely a different Les Paul Custom than the usual one of the era for sure.
Binding, the custom binding. I mean, it looks great.
The backs of these necks usually also wear a lot, so the fact that this is so intact.
Well, you see the silver through
yeah,
it.
you see, that's what I'm talking about. That starts happening and then it starts flaking away, and this is still in really nice shape. But that happens a lot with these.
Yeah, it's a good looking finish.
It's beautiful.
It's not as heavy as some of the ones I've played.
That's a big deal for sure.
Okay, moving along with the 70s theme.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I always wanted one of these.
Me too.
Because, not Paul Stanley, but Devo.
Oh.
And also Steve Miller played one. When I was a kid, I used to read Cream and Circus and Crawdaddy religiously. I mean, that was like my education as a kid, and that's how I learned about the Ramones and the Sex Pistols and Iggy Pop. But I remember seeing Steve Miller play this guitar, and I thought it was so unusual and cool looking. It's funny because Nathaniel said Paul Gilbert, which
makes perfect sense.
I guess so, yeah.
And you have to turn the guitar around like you did, because that's,
the shape that he ingeniously...
Very genius.
Yeah, I bought this from Ted Turner, who's in the picture. He sent me the photo of him playing it too. He did all the things I would do to a Starcaster to make it playable. He took the gummy finish off the neck. It's got the locking tuners and, it's just, but it still sounds like a Starcaster. Very underrated guitar, I think, for what these are. So they record really well. Wes Borland actually was he's the one that put this bug in my head to find a Starcaster. He's like, man, I use those on albums all the time. I love the way they record.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
And I love the finish checking in this, right?
That's so cool.
It looks like wood grain almost, but it's much whiter when Ted had.
Look at that. That's amazing.
But it could also be the photo. But he's obviously very happy to be playing it.
I want to know what shampoo he uses. Look at that. That's beautiful hair.
Yeah. And he signed it to me.